The text message wasn't meant for me. Can't wait for Friday. Tell him you're visiting your sister again. Room 412. Same hotel. I'll bring the wine this time. I stared at my wife Emily's phone screen, the glow illuminating my face in our darkened bedroom. She was in the shower, singing some pop song I didn't recognize. The water had been running for 10 minutes when her phone buzzed on the nightstand. I'd reached for it automatically, thinking it might be important. Maybe something about our daughter Lily's school pickup. The sender was listed as Jessica Yoga. My hands went numb. Emily didn't have a sister. She was an only child. I'd known that for the entire 12 years we'd been married. The phone buzzed again. You there? Did he see the message? Delete it. My heart hammered against my rib cage. The shower shut off. I heard Emily humming, completely oblivious, probably wrapping herself in that blue towel she always used. I had maybe 90 seconds. I did something I'd never done before in our marriage. I went through her messages. Jessica, Yoga, had dozens of texts. Months of them. The preview showed enough to make my stomach drop, but I needed to see more. My fingers moved on autopilot, screenshotting everything, sending the images to my own phone, then deleting the sent messages from her log. The bathroom door handle turned. I dropped her phone back on the nightstand and rolled over, pulling the covers up to my chin, forcing my breathing to steady. My pulse was so loud I was certain she could hear it from across the room. Babe? Emily's voice was soft, cautious. I didn't respond. Played dead. Played asleep. I heard her pad across the carpet, felt the mattress dip as she picked up her phone. There was a pause. Too long. Then she exhaled, and I heard the rapid tapping of her fingers on the screen. Deleting the evidence, probably. Warning Jessica that it was close. She slipped into bed beside me, her damp hair brushing against my shoulder. The lavender scent of her shampoo, the same one she'd used since we started dating 14 years ago, made me want to vomit. Love you, she whispered, kissing my temple. I kept my eyes closed, kept my breathing even, while my mind raced through every detail of the past 6 months. The yoga classes that ran late into the evening, 3 times a week. The girls' weekends with her college friends. The sudden interest in lingerie I never saw her wear at home. The way she'd started putting her phone face down on every surface. How she'd stopped initiating intimacy but seemed distracted, distant when we were together. I'd noticed. Of course I'd noticed. But I'd trusted her. We had a good marriage, or so I thought. We had a 7-year-old daughter who adored both of us. We had a house in the suburbs of Charlotte, North Carolina, with a mortgage we were actually ahead on. I worked as a project manager at a construction firm. She was a dental hygienist with regular hours. We did date nights. We went to Lily's soccer games together. We were the couple other couples said they wanted to be like. What a joke. Emily's breathing deepened, evened out. She fell asleep within minutes, peaceful and content, while I lay there feeling like my chest was caving in. I waited another hour, until I was certain she was deep under, then carefully extracted myself from bed and went downstairs to my home office. I locked the door and opened the screenshots on my phone. The messages went back 7 months. The contact was saved as Jessica Yoga, but the actual person was named Tyler. Tyler Brennan. I found his full name in one of the earlier messages where Emily had accidentally called him by his real name, and he'd reminded her to keep it to the code name, just in case. Tyler Brennan worked at the same dental practice as Emily. Not a dentist, a pharmaceutical sales rep who visited the office weekly. I'd met him exactly once at the practice's holiday party last December. Tall, athletic build, expensive suit. He'd shaken my hand and complimented me on my wife's work ethic. I'd thanked him and thought nothing of it. They'd started messaging in late September. Friendly at first, then flirtatious. By October, they were meeting for coffee. By November, they were meeting at the Marriott off Interstate 77. The messages were detailed, explicit, but not in a crude way. Worse, actually. They were intimate, personal. Emily told him things she used to tell me, shared jokes, made plans for a future that apparently didn't include me. In one message from 3 weeks ago, Tyler had written, "When are you going to tell him? We can't keep doing this forever." Emily's response, "I know. I just need to figure out the right time. Lily's so young, and he's a good dad. This is going to destroy him." At least she had that right. I sat in my office chair, staring at my phone until the screen went dark, then staring at my own reflection in the black mirror of the glass. I looked the same as I had this morning. Same brown hair, same tired eyes, same face I shaved every day. But everything was different now. Friday was 3 days away. Room 412 at the Marriott. I had 3 days to decide what kind of man I was going to be. The kind who confronted his wife immediately, demanded answers, and watched his marriage explode in real time? The kind who pretended he didn't know and slowly died inside? Or the kind who did something else entirely? My phone buzzed. A text from Emily's phone to mine. "You awake? Come back to bed. Miss you." I looked at the message for a long time before typing back, "Be up in a few. Finishing some work stuff." 3 days. Room 412. I opened my laptop and started making a plan. I closed the laptop at 2:47 a.m. The plan was simple. Elegant, even. The kind of thing that would have made my old project management professor nod in approval. Clear objectives, measurable outcomes, minimal variables. Emily was still asleep when I slid back into bed. She'd rolled onto her side, one arm draped across my pillow. Looking for me, probably. Some unconscious gesture of affection that meant nothing now. I stared at the ceiling until my alarm went off at 6:30. Wednesday morning moved like every other morning. I made coffee. Emily came downstairs in her scrubs, hair still damp. She kissed my cheek. "You were up late," she said. "Couldn't sleep. Work stuff." "The Peterson account?" "Yeah." She poured coffee into her travel mug, added the vanilla creamer she bought in bulk from Costco. "You'll figure it out. You always do." I nodded. Took a sip of black coffee that tasted like nothing. She checked her phone, smiled at something, put it face down on the counter. "I might be late tonight," she said. "We've got a staff meeting." "Okay. Can you grab Lily from soccer?" "Sure." She kissed me again, grabbed her keys, left. I waited 10 minutes. Then I made a call. The guy's name was Danny Pruitt. We'd gone to college together, lost touch for a decade, reconnected at a conference 2 years ago. He worked in digital forensics now. Helped law firms recover deleted emails, trace IP addresses, that sort of thing. "I need a favor," I said. "What kind of favor?" "The kind you don't ask questions about." Silence on the line. Then, "You got something for me to look at?" "Phone records, text message metadata. I need timestamps, locations if possible, everything recoverable." "Whose phone?" "My wife's." Another silence. Longer this time. "You sure about this?" Danny said. "I'm sure." "Okay, send me what you've got." I forwarded him the screenshots. All of them. 7 months of evidence compressed into a 47-megabyte file. "Jesus," he said, 20 minutes later. "How long has this been going on?" "You tell me." Based on message frequency and time patterns, first contact was late March, escalated significantly by May. Hotel meets started in June. Looks like they're meeting every Friday now, sometimes Wednesdays. "Wednesdays," I repeated. "Yeah. You want the location data?" "Everything." He sent it over by noon, a spreadsheet with dates, times, cell tower pings. The Marriott off I-77 showed up 14 times. But there were others. a Holiday Inn near the airport, a Hampton Inn in Huntersville, once a Hilton in uptown Charlotte. Always between 2 and 4 in the afternoon. Always on days Emily told me she had staff meetings, dental conferences, or lunch with friends. I printed the spreadsheet, put it in a folder, put the folder in my desk drawer. Then I made another call. The attorney's name was Patricia Gomez. She came recommended by a guy at work whose brother had gone through a divorce last year. Aggressive, he'd said. Doesn't mess around. Her office was in a glass building near South Park. Minimalist furniture. Degrees from Duke on the wall. Tell me what's going on, she said. I told her. Showed her the screenshots, the spreadsheet, the timeline Danny had put together. She took notes on a yellow legal pad. Didn't react. Didn't offer sympathy or outrage. How long have you been married? She said. 12 years. Kids? 1, Lily, she's 7. Assets? House, 2 cars, retirement accounts, joint savings. Debts? Mortgage, my student loans are paid off. Emily's got about $15,000 left. She wrote it all down, flipped a page. North Carolina is an equitable distribution state, she said, not community property. The court divides assets fairly, not necessarily equally. But with this kind of documentation, she tapped the folder. You're in a strong position. What about custody? Shared custody is standard unless there's evidence of unfitness. An affair doesn't automatically disqualify someone as a parent. She's been lying to our daughter. I understand. But unless you can prove the affair has directly harmed Lily, neglect, exposure to inappropriate situations, the court won't weigh it heavily in custody decisions. I felt something cold settle in my chest. However, Patricia said, if she's been using marital funds for these hotel rooms, meals, gifts, that's dissipation of marital assets. We can argue she should reimburse the marital estate. How much are we talking? She pulled out a calculator, started adding. 14 hotel visits at roughly $150 per night. Dinners, drinks. If she bought him gifts? She looked up. Could be 5,000-6,000, maybe more. And I'd get half of that back. In theory, depends on the judge. I nodded, watched her write more notes. What's your goal here? She said. What do you want the outcome to be? I want her to understand what she's losing. Patricia set down her pen, looked at me directly. I need to be clear about something, she said. Revenge is expensive, emotionally and financially. If your goal is to punish her, you'll spend a lot of money and end up bitter. If your goal is to protect yourself and your daughter and move forward, that's something I can help with. I want what's fair. Fair doesn't exist in divorce. There's legal and illegal, ethical and unethical, strategic and stupid. But fair? She shook her head. Fair is a fairy tale. I looked at the screenshot spread across her desk. Emily's words in gray bubbles. Tyler's in blue. I can't stop thinking about you. When can I see you again? He doesn't know. He never knows. I want a file, I said, but I don't want her to know yet. Patricia raised an eyebrow. You want to prepare the paperwork but hold off on serving her? Yes. Why? I have my reasons. She studied me for a long moment. Then she pulled out a fresh legal pad. Okay, she said. Let's get started. I picked up Lily from soccer at 5:30. She climbed into the back seat, grass-stained and sweating, talking about a goal she almost scored. Mom said she's working late, Lily said. Can we get pizza? Sure. Can we get the one with the stuffed crust? Whatever you want. We went to Pizza Hut, sat in a booth by the window. Lily demolished 3 slices and half a breadstick while telling me about a girl named Ava who'd pushed her during practice. Did you push her back? I said. No, coach said to tell an adult. And did you? Yeah. Coach made Ava sit out for 5 minutes. Good. Lily wiped her hands on a napkin, looked at me with Emily's eyes. Are you and Mom fighting? She said. My stomach dropped. Why would you think that? You've been quiet, and Mom keeps looking at her phone. We're not fighting, I said. I've just got a lot on my mind with work. The Peterson thing? Yeah, the Peterson thing. She seemed satisfied with that. Went back to her pizza. I watched her eat and thought about hotel rooms, about lies told in our kitchen, about a man named Tyler who wanted my wife to leave me, about what Lily would think when she found out. Emily got home at 8:30. I was on the couch with my laptop. Lily was upstairs doing homework. How was the meeting? I said. Long, boring. Dr. Kaplan went on forever about new sterilization protocols. She dropped her purse on the chair, kicked off her shoes. Did you guys eat? Pizza. Of course, she smiled, headed for the stairs. I'm going to change. I waited until I heard the bedroom door close. Then I opened my laptop. The document was already drafted. 23 pages. Complaint for absolute divorce, equitable distribution, custody arrangements, child support calculations. Patricia had been thorough. I saved it. Closed the laptop, looked at the ceiling. 2 more days until Friday. 2 more days until room 412. I'd made a decision about what kind of man I was going to be. Not the kind who confronted. Not the kind who begged or screamed or threw things. The kind who documented, who planned, who waited. The kind who made sure that when the hammer finally fell, there'd be no ambiguity about who'd earned it. Emily came back downstairs in sweatpants and one of my old t-shirts, curled up next to me on the couch. What are you watching? She said. Nothing, just scrolling. She put her head on my shoulder. I felt her warmth, smelled her lavender shampoo. Love you, she said. I looked at her phone on the coffee table. Screen dark, secrets locked inside. Love you too, I said. And I meant it. That was the worst part. The fluorescent lights of Sunset Lanes had that same buzzing quality as the dental office where Emily worked. I'd been here 100 times for Thursday Night League, 12 years of strikes and spares, cheap beer and cheaper pizza, the comfortable rhythm of married couples who bowled together. Tonight felt different. I sat in lane 7, watching Emily chalk her fingers at lane 12. She wore her league shirt, the purple one with gutter queens embroidered across the back. Her team, her friends, her normal life where she smiled and laughed and pretended everything was fine. I'd almost stayed home. Almost told her I was too tired, had work to catch up on. But something pulled me here tonight. Maybe the same instinct that made me pick up her phone 2 weeks ago. The scoring system glowed above each lane, digital and impersonal. But Kathy Brennan still kept paper sheets, old school, tracking each frame with her careful handwriting. She'd been the scorer for Emily's team since before I knew them. 50s, reading glasses on a chain, the kind of woman who brought homemade cookies to league night. I watched Kathy mark Emily's spare on the sheet. Nothing unusual, just numbers and symbols in their proper columns. Then Emily walked back to the seating area, and I saw it. Kathy leaned over, said something. Emily laughed, touched Kathy's shoulder. Casual. Friendly. The kind of interaction I'd seen 1,000 times. Except Kathy's expression changed when Emily turned away. Something flickered across her face. Knowledge, maybe. Or pity. My ball felt heavier than usual when I stood for my turn. Lane 7 was 2 over from the restrooms, and I had a clear view of the whole alley from the approach. I rolled a clean strike, muscle memory taking over while my mind worked. When I got back to my seat, I pulled out my phone. Opened the folder of screenshots I'd saved. Scrolled through the messages between Emily and Tyler until I found what I was looking for. Can't wait to see you Friday. Room 412. That was from last week. But there were others. Dozens of others, stretching back months. Thursday nights are torture. Watching him bowl while I think about you. My hands went cold. I looked up at lane 12. Emily was bowling again, her form perfect, the ball curving into the pocket. 7 pins down. She picked up the spare on her second roll. Kathy marked the sheet. Then she pulled out her phone, typed something quick, and set it down. 3 lanes away in lane 9, a guy in a Sunset Lanes employee shirt checked his phone. Young, maybe late 20s, with the kind of build that came from actually working instead of paying for a gym membership. He smiled at whatever he read. I recognized him. Derek something. He worked the desk sometimes, but mostly he was back in the machinery, fixing pin setter jams and oiling lanes. He glanced toward lane 12. Emily didn't look back, but I saw her shoulders shift. Awareness. My turn came again. I stood, grabbed my ball, and walked to the approach. Instead of bowling, I moved to the ball return at lane 8, like I was checking the weight on a different ball. From this angle, I could see Kathy's scoring sheet clearly. The paper was covered in her neat handwriting. Frames and totals, strikes marked with X's, spares with slashes. But in the margins between the official scoring columns, she'd drawn small hearts, tiny ones, barely noticeable unless you were looking. And next to Emily's name, in handwriting so small I almost missed it. Split coverage. I walked back to lane 7, rolled my ball, didn't see where it went. The pieces were connecting in my head, forming a picture I didn't want to see. Thursday nights? League night. Emily here every week while I bowled 2 lanes away, both of us in our separate worlds. Spare time, the message had said. Not spare as in bowling. Spare as in extra. Hidden. I sat down and watched. Really watched. Derek disappeared into the back around 9:30. Emily's team finished their second game at 9:40. She announced she needed the restroom, handed her ball to one of her teammates. She walked past the bathrooms. I stood up, told my team I was getting another beer. Followed at a distance. The back hallway led to the employee areas, the pro shop, the maintenance room, the office. Emily turned the corner, and I counted to 10 before following. She was gone. The hallway was empty except for the hum of machinery and the distant crash of pins. I stood there for maybe 30 seconds. Then the maintenance room door opened, and Derek stepped out, adjusting his shirt. He saw me. Froze. Lane 7's got a sticky return, I said. My voice sounded normal, casual. Thought I'd mention it. I'll check it out. He moved past me, fast, not meeting my eyes. I walked back to my lane. Emily returned 2 minutes later, her hair slightly mussed, her cheeks flushed in a way that had nothing to do with bowling. The rest of the night passed in a blur. We bowled our 3rd game. Emily's team won their series. Everyone packed up, made plans for next week, said their goodbyes. In the parking lot, Emily kissed my cheek. Good night? Fine, I said. You? We took the series. Kathy's keeping great stats this season. I drove home in silence. Emily talked about her team, about someone's new ball, about the league standings. I made appropriate sounds. At home, I waited until she was asleep. Then I went to my office and opened my laptop. Danny had sent me the full phone records yesterday. I'd been focused on the hotel meetings, the calls to Tyler. But now I scrolled back further, looking for a different pattern. Thursday nights. Every Thursday for the past 4 months, Emily's phone showed text to a number I hadn't recognized before. Short messages sent during league hours. I cross-referenced the number. It took 15 minutes, but I found it. Derek Paulson, 28. Employed at Sunset Lanes for 3 years. Single. I sat back in my chair. Tyler was the main affair, the hotels, the planning, the romance of it. But Derek was something else. Convenient. Available. A quick escape during league night while I bowled 2 lanes away. And Kathy knew. She'd been covering for Emily, tracking her absences on the score sheets with coded hearts and inside jokes. My phone buzzed. A text from Emily's phone, sent to my number. "You still up?" I looked at the timestamp. "Sent 2 minutes ago from the bedroom." "Working," I typed back. "Be up soon." I pulled out the notebook where I'd been tracking everything. Added Derek's name. Drew connections between the timeline Danny had built and these Thursday nights. 14 hotel meetings with Tyler. But how many quick encounters with Derek? How many times had she disappeared for 10 minutes while I celebrated strikes with my team? The ball return at lane 7 wasn't sticky. It worked fine. But tomorrow night, I was going to make sure every lane in that alley knew exactly what kind of scoring Emily had been doing. I opened a new browser window and started searching for bowling alley supply companies. Lane oil came in drums, industrial size, but you could order smaller quantities for home practice lanes. And banana extract, the kind used in commercial food service, was easy to find. I added both to a shopping cart. Overnight shipping. Then I opened my email and composed a message to the Sunset Lanes League coordinator. Attached were screenshots, not of Tyler's messages, but of the texts between Emily and Derek. Time-stamped during league hours. Explicit enough to make the point. Subject line: scoring irregularities. Lane 12. My finger hovered over the send button. Not yet. I needed to do this, right? Needed to make sure everyone saw what I'd been too blind to notice. I saved the email as a draft and closed my laptop. Upstairs, Emily was asleep, her phone charging on the nightstand. I stood in the doorway watching her breathe, this woman I'd trusted for 12 years. Friday was still 3 days away, her meeting with Tyler at room 412. But Thursday night, tomorrow, league night was mine. The email sat in my drafts folder, cursor blinking in the subject line. I'd rewritten it 4 times. Too angry, too detailed, too obvious it was me. This version was clean. Professional, concerned. Subject: league night safety issue. Urgent. Bill: I've become aware of a serious liability problem during Thursday league nights at Sunset Lanes. One of the scorekeepers has been falsifying attendance records to cover extended absences by a league member. During these absences, the member in question has been meeting an employee in the maintenance areas. This creates both safety and insurance concerns. I'm bringing this to your attention before it becomes a legal problem for the alley. The scorekeeper is Kathy Brennan, lane 12. The league member is Emily Dalton, also lane 12. The employee is Derek Paulson, pin setter maintenance. I have documentation if needed. A concerned league member. I read it 3 more times. Factual, verifiable, plausibly from anyone who'd noticed the pattern. My finger hovered over the send button. Not yet. Thursday morning I'd send it. Give Bill just enough time to investigate before league night. Maybe he'd confront them. Maybe he'd watch. Either way, Emily would walk into Sunset Lanes tomorrow night with no idea the trap was set. I saved the draft and opened the second email. This one went to Tyler Brennan's supervisor at Whitmore Pharmaceuticals. Danny had pulled Tyler's company email from LinkedIn, then found his manager's contact through the corporate directory. Mr. Stevens: I'm writing to inform you of conduct by one of your sales representatives that may violate company policy regarding relationships with clients. Tyler Brennan has been engaged in a 7-month affair with a dental hygienist at Baxter Family Dental, one of his sales accounts. They've been meeting at company-reimbursed hotels during his sales calls. I have documentation showing he's claimed these hotel stays as business expenses when they were personal in nature. This may constitute fraud in your expense reporting system. I'm providing this information confidentially before considering whether to contact Baxter Family Dental's management. I attached 3 screenshots. Tyler's text about expensing the room. Another about covering the mileage. A third showing him discussing a client dinner on a night Danny's records showed he was at the Marriott with Emily. This email I scheduled to send Friday at noon, right when Tyler would be checking into room 412, expecting Emily to show up at 2. She wouldn't be there. She'd be at Baxter Family Dental, probably getting called into her boss's office. Because the third email, the one to Dr. Baxter himself, was scheduled for Friday at 10 a.m. That one was shorter. Dr. Baxter. One of your hygienists, Emily Dalton, has been conducting an affair with a pharmaceutical sales representative who calls on your practice. They've been meeting during work hours and using your office as a meeting point. This creates a conflict of interest regarding any purchasing decisions influenced by this representative. The sales rep is Tyler Brennan from Whitmore Pharmaceuticals. You may want to review your vendor relationships. 3 emails, 3 different explosions. Thursday night at the bowling alley. Friday morning at her work. Friday afternoon in Tyler's career. I sat back in my office chair, looking at the scheduled send times glowing on my screen. Emily was downstairs watching some home renovation show. I could hear the TV through the floor, the cheerful host talking about open-concept living spaces. Lily was at my mom's for the night. Wednesday sleepover tradition. My phone buzzed. Danny. Got the final phone records. You're going to want to see this. He'd sent a PDF. I opened it on my laptop. The highlighted entries made my stomach drop all over again. Calls to Derek Paulson's number going back 9 months. Not 7 like Tyler. 9. Derek came first. The pattern was clear once Danny had marked it out. Every Thursday night, 8:47 p.m. to 9:15 p.m., like clockwork. The exact middle of league play when she'd disappear for bathroom breaks or cigarette runs, even though she didn't smoke. But there were other calls too. Sunday afternoons when I took Lily to soccer practice. Tuesday mornings before her shift started. A few Saturday nights marked girls' night on our shared calendar. Danny had cross-referenced them with Derek's work schedule at Sunset Lanes. Every single call matched a shift Derek was working. Tyler was the exciting one. The nice hotels, the pharmaceutical rep with the expensive suits and expense account. But Derek was the regular one, the reliable one, the one she'd been seeing twice a week for 9 months. I pulled up Derek's Facebook page again. 28 years old. Still lived with his parents according to his listed address. Posted gym selfies and memes about hustle culture. His relationship status said, "It's complicated." Yeah, it was about to get more complicated. My second Amazon order had arrived this afternoon. I'd hidden the box in my office closet before Emily got home. Inside, commercial-grade Lane oil, banana extract concentrate, a cheap printer, sticker paper, and a pack of bright yellow poster board. The Lane oil was the key. Danny had sent me a video from a bowling alley maintenance manual. Just a few drops of excess oil in the wrong spot would make the lanes unpredictably slick. Not enough to be obvious sabotage. Just enough to ruin everyone's game. The banana extract was for Derek's locker. A few drops inside the vents would make everything he owned smell like rotting fruit. Subtle at first. Overwhelming by the end of his shift. The printer and sticker paper were for the signs. I'd designed them on Canva, keeping the style generic. Bowling pin clippered. Bold text. Lane. 12 cheaters. Ask Emily about her spare time. Ask Kathy about her scoring system. Juvenile? Maybe, but effective. I had 12 of them printed, ready to stick on every surface in Sunset Lanes tomorrow night. Bathroom mirrors, locker doors, vending machines, the league standings board. My phone buzzed again. Emily. Coming up. You want anything? Me. I'm good. Her footsteps on the stairs. I closed the phone records and pulled up a work email. Something boring about project timelines. She appeared in the doorway, wearing my old college sweatshirt and leggings, hair in a messy bun. No makeup. She looked like the woman I'd married. "You've been up here for hours," she said. "Everything okay?" "Just catching up on some stuff." I gestured at the screen. "Miller project is behind schedule." She walked over, put her hands on my shoulders, started massaging. "You work too hard." Her hands felt wrong, foreign, like a stranger touching me. "Someone has to pay for all those bowling league fees," I said. She laughed. Actually laughed. "It's like $30 a week, plus shoes, plus drinks, plus all those team dinners you go to." Her hands stopped moving for just a second, then resumed. "We don't do team dinners that often. Seems like every other week lately. Maybe once a month." Her voice stayed light, casual. "You're exaggerating." I pulled up our bank statement on my phone, keeping the screen angled away from her. Scrolled to the charges I'd highlighted yesterday. Sunset Lanes. Bar tab, $47. 2 weeks ago, Thursday night. Another bar tab, $53. 4 weeks ago, Thursday night. Another, $61, 6 weeks ago. Every other Thursday, like clockwork, while I was home with Lily, watching her do homework and making her dinner. "Once a month," I repeated. "Around that." She kissed the top of my head. "Don't be jealous. It's just bowling. Just bowling." "You excited for tomorrow night?" I asked. "I guess. We're playing the team in second place. Should be competitive." "Kathy ready to keep score?" "Kathy's always ready. She's weirdly into it." Emily moved toward the door. "I'm going to bed. Don't stay up too late." "I'll be down soon." She left. I waited until I heard the bedroom door close. Then I opened the email to Bill again. Read it one more time. Tomorrow at 8 a.m., it would send. Bill would have all day to investigate, to check the maintenance logs, to maybe review security footage if Sunset Lanes had cameras in the back areas. By the time Emily arrived at 6:30 for league night, he'd know. And I'd be there to watch it unfold. I'd told Emily I had a work dinner tomorrow. She'd believed me instantly, no questions. Probably relieved to have one less thing to coordinate around. Instead, I'd be at Sunset Lanes. Not in the league area, too obvious. But the regular lanes on the other side. Danny was meeting me there at 6. We'd bowl a few games, drink some beers, and watch lane 12 from across the alley. I had a clear view from lane 32. I'd checked on Google Maps interior photos. My phone showed 11:47 p.m. In 19 hours, the first email would send. In 22 hours, I'd watch Emily's world start to collapse. I opened my desk drawer and pulled out the printed signs, the lane oil, the banana extract. Everything ready. I thought about calling it off, deleting the emails, throwing away the supplies, just serving her the divorce papers and being done with it. But then I remembered Derek's Facebook post from last week. A gym selfie with the caption, "Crushing it lately. Life is good." Yeah, not for long. The Thursday morning light came through the kitchen window while I packed Lily's lunch. Turkey sandwich, apple slices, the granola bar she liked. Emily sat across from me with her coffee, scrolling through her phone. "You seem tired," she said. "Didn't sleep great." She nodded, already back to her screen. Probably texting Derek about tonight, or Tyler about tomorrow. Hard to keep track of her schedule anymore. I'd been awake since 4, running through the timeline again. First email would send at 8 this morning to Ron Castillo, the bowling alley manager. Subject line, "Employee conduct violation, Derek Paulson." The body contained screenshots of Derek's texts to Emily, timestamps showing his absences during league nights, and a detailed breakdown of every Thursday evening they'd spent in the maintenance closet while Kathy marked Emily present on the score sheets. The second email would hit Emily's boss, Dr. Andrea Lawson, at 10 tomorrow morning. That one included the hotel receipts, the afternoon dental conference absences that lined up with Tyler's pharmaceutical sales routes, and the text where Emily joked about filling cavities on company time. The third would reach Tyler's regional supervisor at noon Friday. Professional misconduct, company vehicle misuse, falsified expense reports for hotels that weren't business travel. All 3 emails scheduled. All 3 locked and loaded. I zipped Lily's lunchbox closed. "What time's bowling tonight?" I asked. Emily looked up. 7. Should be done by 9:30. "Kathy keeping score again?" "Yeah, she usually does our lane." I nodded. Kathy Brennan, covering for my wife while she disappeared with the pin setter guy. I'd spent 2 hours Tuesday night going through old bowling league photos on the Alley's Facebook page. Found Kathy in a dozen pictures. Found her standing next to a man in one photo from last year's championship night. The caption read, "Congratulations to our winning team," pictured with regional sponsor Tyler Brennan. Tyler and Kathy. Same last name. Same sharp features in their faces when I looked close enough. Brother and sister, maybe? Or cousins. Either way, Kathy wasn't just Emily's scorekeeper. She was Tyler's family, helping coordinate my wife's double life. The coffee in my stomach turned acidic. "You okay?" Emily reached across the table, touched my hand. I looked at her fingers on mine. The same hand that had touched Derek. That had touched Tyler. That still wore the wedding ring I'd saved 3 months' salary to buy. "Fine," I said. "Just thinking about work stuff." She squeezed once, then pulled back. "Don't forget Lily has soccer practice tomorrow at 4. I remember. I wouldn't be taking Lily to practice tomorrow. By 4 o'clock Friday, Emily's entire world would be rubble. The divorce papers sat in my car, ready to be served. Patricia Gomez had a process server on standby. The moment Emily's boss received that email, the moment her professional reputation started crumbling, the papers would hit. Lily came downstairs in her school uniform, backpack dragging. "Morning, baby," Emily said, all sunshine and Mother of the Year warmth. I watched her hug our daughter, watched her kiss Lily's forehead and smooth her hair. The same woman who'd texted Derek 3 nights ago. "Can't wait to feel you again. Thursday can't come fast enough." My phone buzzed. Text from Danny. "Cameras confirmed. Got the layout. You sure about this?" I typed back, "Positive." Danny had spent yesterday afternoon at Spare Time Lanes, the bowling alley where Emily's league played. He'd posed as a health inspector, walked the whole facility, mapped the camera positions. Lanes 10-14 had clear coverage. The maintenance closet where Emily and Derek met had a camera pointed right at the door. Ron Castillo would have plenty of evidence when he checked the footage after my email arrived. "Daddy, can you braid my hair?" Lily held up her hairbrush. I took it, started working through her tangles. Emily watched us, smiling that soft smile that used to make my chest warm. Now it just made me feel hollow. "You're good at that," she said. "Practice," she laughed. "Remember when you tried the first time? Looked like a bird's nest." "That was 7 years ago." "Time flies." She checked her phone again. Typed something. "Put it down. I should get ready for work." She left the kitchen. I finished Lily's braid, tied it off with the elastic band she handed me. "Perfect," she said, checking it in the reflection of the microwave. "You're perfect," I said, and meant it. At 7:45, I sat in my car outside Lily's school, watching kids stream through the entrance. My phone showed 7:46, 14 minutes until the first email sent. I could still stop it. Could log into the scheduled send folder, delete everything, pretend I'd never found the burner phone or the texts or the hotel receipts. Could go home tonight and kiss Emily like nothing had changed. Could keep living the lie. My finger hovered over the email app. 7:47. I thought about Derek Paulson, 28 years old, working nights at a bowling alley while sleeping with married women during league play. I thought about Tyler Brennan and his expensive suits, pharmaceutical samples in his trunk, room 412 keycard in his wallet. I thought about Kathy Brennan, marking Emily present while she was 15 feet away in a maintenance closet. I thought about Emily last Friday, coming home at 6:30 smelling like hotel soap, kissing me hello, asking about my day. 7:48. I put the phone down, started the car, drove to work. At 8:02, my phone buzzed. Email confirmation. Your message to Ron Castillo has been sent. I sat in the parking garage, engine off, hands on the steering wheel. Done. No taking it back now. Ron Castillo had the screenshots, the timeline, the evidence. He'd check the security footage. He'd see Derek and Emily disappearing during league play. He'd see Kathy covering for them. By tonight, Derek would be fired. Kathy would be banned from scorekeeping. And Emily would walk into spare time lanes expecting her usual Thursday routine, only to find her affair partner gone and questions waiting. I went inside, sat at my desk, opened spreadsheets I couldn't focus on. Danny texted at 9. First domino down? Yes. You good? I stared at the question. Was I good? My wife was cheating with 2 men. I'd just blown up one affair and had 2 more explosions scheduled. Tomorrow, my daughter's mother would be served divorce papers at work, probably in front of colleagues. Tomorrow, Emily's career would implode along with her marriage. Was I good? I'm fine, I typed back. Liar. But I get it. Still on for tonight? Tonight. Danny and I were supposed to watch the fallout at the bowling alley. We'd planned to sit in the sports bar across the parking lot, get a table with a view of the entrance, watch Emily arrive expecting her normal Thursday, and instead walk into chaos. Yeah, meet you there at 6:45. Bringing popcorn? Not funny. Little bit funny. See you tonight. I put the phone down, tried to work. The spreadsheet blurred. At 10:15, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Hello? Is this Emily's husband? A man's voice, young, panicked. My stomach dropped. Who is this? Derek Paulson. Listen, I just got fired. My boss showed me these emails and screenshots and I don't know what's happening, but I need to talk to Emily and she's not answering her phone and… I hung up. He called back immediately. I declined it. He called again. I blocked the number. My hands shook. Derek knew. Derek was panicking. Derek was trying to reach Emily, probably to warn her, probably to figure out who'd sent the evidence to his boss. My phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. I know this was you. You're going to regret this. I stared at the message. Derek had my number. Probably got it from Emily's phone. Probably going through her contacts right now, trying to figure out his next move. Another text. Emily loves me, not you. This won't change anything. I typed back. She's sleeping with someone else too. You're not special. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. No response came. I deleted the conversation. Blocked that number too. At 11, Emily texted, having lunch with Kathy today. Probably won't answer if you call. Perfect timing. Emily and Kathy, probably doing damage control. Probably trying to figure out what happened to Derek. Probably strategizing. I wondered if Kathy had told Emily about Tyler yet. If she'd mentioned her brother or cousin or whatever Tyler was to her. If Emily even knew the 2 affairs were connected through the scorekeeper. Have fun, I texted back. At noon, I left work early. Told my boss I had a family emergency. Not technically a lie. I drove to spare time lanes. The parking lot was half empty at 2:30 on a Thursday afternoon. League play didn't start until 7. The building squatted low and windowless, its neon sign dark against the gray sky. I'd driven past this place every week for 9 months, never thinking twice about Emily's Thursday nights. I parked 3 spaces from the entrance and sat with the engine running. My phone buzzed. Derek again. You don't know what you've done. Kathy said we need to talk. I'm coming to your house. I turned the phone face down on my thigh. Let him come. The cameras would catch everything. Patricia had already filed for a restraining order, just needed one more threatening text to activate it. The bowling alley's front door opened. A woman in her 50s stepped out, lighting a cigarette. She wore a blue polo shirt with pins and pints embroidered over the pocket. She glanced at my car, then away. I got out. The cold air hit me as I crossed the parking lot. The woman watched me approach, her expression neutral. We don't open until 4, she said. I'm looking for Ron Castillo. She took a drag. You the one who sent that email? I am. She studied me for a long moment. He's inside, dealing with the mess you made. She dropped her cigarette and ground it under her heel. Derek's a good kid, whatever your wife told you. My wife didn't tell me anything. I kept my voice level. I have 9 months of security footage showing her leaving league night early, every Thursday, same time Derek clocked out. Her face changed. Security footage. From the parking lot cameras, time-stamped, dated. I hadn't actually reviewed the footage yet. Danny was still pulling it, but she didn't need to know that. You want to keep defending him? She turned and pulled the door open. Ron's in the office, back hallway, past the shoe rental. The smell hit me immediately. Stale beer and lane oil and something fried. The lights were on but dimmed, giving everything a twilight quality. 20 lanes stretched out to my left, pins waiting in perfect formation. To my right, the bar area sat empty, chairs upturned on tables. My shoes squeaked on the tile as I walked past the rental counter. The back hallway was narrow, lined with framed photos of league champions dating back to the 80s. I found the office door halfway down, slightly ajar. I knocked. Come in. Ron Castillo sat behind a metal desk covered in paperwork. He was younger than I'd expected, maybe 40, with thinning hair and reading glasses perched on his nose. He looked up as I entered. Mr. Castillo? You must be him. He gestured to the chair across from his desk. The husband. I sat. He removed his glasses and rubbed his eyes. I fired Derek an hour ago. He's threatening to sue for wrongful termination. Says you fabricated evidence to destroy his reputation. He set the glasses down. Did you? No. You have proof? I have text messages, photos, security footage from your parking lot showing my wife's car leaving with Derek's truck every Thursday for 9 months. He leaned back in his chair. It creaked under his weight. Kathy Brennan told me your wife had family emergencies. Mother with dementia, she said. Needed to leave early sometimes. He paused. Your wife's mother doesn't have dementia, does she? Her mother's dead. Been dead 6 years. Christ. He picked up a pen and tapped it against the desk. Kathy's worked here 15 years. Never had a problem with her. Now I'm wondering what else she's lied about. She's related to Tyler Brennan, I said. Pharmaceutical sales rep. My wife's other affair. The pen stopped tapping. Other affair? Emily's been meeting Tyler Brennan at the Marriott off I-77 every Friday for 7 months. Kathy's his mother. Or aunt. I'm still working that out. I pulled out my phone and opened the screenshots. Here's Tyler confirming their Friday plans. Here's Kathy texting Emily about covering for her. Here's... Stop, Ron held up his hand. I don't need to see it. He stood and walked to the small window overlooking the lanes. League night's in 4 hours. Kathy's scheduled to score. Your wife's team is playing. I know, he turned. What do you want from me? I want to know if Emily's here. Here? Now? She left work early, told her boss she had a personal emergency. She's not answering my calls. I stood. Her car's not in the parking lot, but I thought maybe she's not here. Ron crossed his arms. But Kathy is. She came in around noon, said she needed to update the league schedules. Been in the scorer's booth ever since. The scorer's booth, where Kathy sat every Thursday, marking Emily's fake scores while my wife was in Derek's truck. Can I talk to her? Ron studied me. You planning to cause a scene? No, because I've got enough problems today without adding assault charges. I just want answers. He walked to the door and looked down the hallway. Then he nodded. Booth 3, down at the end. But I'm staying close. He stepped aside. And for what it's worth, I'm sorry. About your wife. About all of it. I walked past him without responding. The lanes stretched out on my left as I moved down the approach area. My reflection followed me in the polished wood. A ghost in business casual, out of place among the league banners and trophy cases. Booth 3 sat at the far end, elevated above the lanes. I could see Kathy through the plexiglass window, hunched over a laptop. She wore the same blue polo as the woman outside. I climbed the 3 steps and opened the door. She looked up. Her face went pale. Mr. Don't. I closed the door behind me. The booth was smaller than I'd expected, barely 8 feet square. Computer equipment covered one wall, screens showing scoring software. A space heater hummed in the corner. How long have you known? She set down her pen. Known what? About Emily and Derek. About Emily and your son. I watched her flinch at the word. He is your son, right? Tyler Brennan? Her hands flattened on the desk. You need to leave. 9 months. I stayed by the door. You covered for her for 9 months. Marked her present when she was gone. Scored her frames when she was in the parking lot with Derek. I pulled out my phone. I have the score sheets. Danny pulled them from the league database. You want to see them? I don't know what you're talking about. Thursday, October 19th. Emily's team played the Spermies. You marked her for a 167, but the security footage shows her car leaving at 8:15, same time Derek clocked out. She wasn't here. I scrolled through the screenshots. Thursday, November 2nd. You gave her a 172. She left at 8:20. I looked up. Should I keep going? Kathy's face had gone from pale to red. She asked me to help. Help her cheat on her husband? Help her have something for herself. Her voice rose. Do you know what it's like? Being married to someone who controls everything? Who monitors every minute, every dollar, every... I've never controlled Emily. That's what they all say. She stood. She told me about you. How you track her phone. How you question her about every purchase. How you... I don't track her phone. I don't question her purchases. My voice stayed level. I trusted her. Past tense. Kathy's mouth opened, then closed. Tyler, I said. Your son. How long has he been sleeping with my wife? She sank back into her chair. 7 months. And you knew? Not at first. She looked at the computer screen. He mentioned her in August. Said he'd met someone special. Married, but unhappy. Planning to leave her husband. She laughed, bitter. I didn't know it was Emily until September. Saw them together at a restaurant. She begged me not to tell you. So you helped her. I helped my son find happiness. She met my eyes. Something you clearly couldn't give your wife. I felt my jaw tighten. Did you know about Derek? Her expression shifted. Confusion, then something else. What about Derek? Emily's been seeing him since July, before Tyler. I watched her process this. Your son's the second affair, not the first. The color drained from her face again. She's been playing both of them, I continued. Derek on Thursdays, Tyler on Fridays, and you've been covering for her, thinking you were helping your son, when really you were just, get out, helping her cheat on everyone. Get out. She stood so fast her chair hit the wall. Get out before I call the police. I opened the door. Ron stood at the bottom of the steps, arms still crossed. We done here? He called up. We're done. I descended the steps and walked past him. Behind me, I heard Kathy's voice, high and shaking, already on the phone. I didn't look back. I didn't go to the bowling alley that night. Didn't watch Emily arrive to find Derek fired and Kathy in tears. Didn't see her face when Ron Castillo told her she was banned from league play pending investigation. Danny texted me updates from the parking lot. 6:47. Emily just pulled in. 6:52. She's arguing with Ron at the entrance. 7:03. She's leaving. Looks bad, man. 7:15. Kathy just left too. Crying. I was home with Lily, helping her with math homework at the kitchen table. She struggled with fractions, and I showed her the same trick my father had taught me. Pizza slices, pieces of a whole. Emily came through the door at 7:40. Her face was blotchy, mascara smudged. She looked at me across the kitchen and I saw it. The exact moment she understood. Lily, go upstairs, I said quietly. But I'm not done. Now, please. Our daughter looked between us, then gathered her books and left. Her footsteps faded up the stairs. Emily stood in the doorway, purse still on her shoulder. It was you. Yes. Derek, Ron, the emails. Her voice cracked. All of it. All of it. She moved to the counter, gripped the edge. How long have you known? 2 weeks, since I saw the text from Jessica, yoga. Her hand went to her mouth. Oh, God. Tomorrow morning at 10, your boss gets an email about the hotel meetings with Tyler. Tomorrow at noon, Tyler's supervisor gets documentation of his expense fraud. And tomorrow at 2, you'll be served divorce papers at work. I stood. I thought about doing it quietly, just filing and telling you in private. But you didn't give me quiet. You gave me 9 months of lying, 2 affairs, our daughter's scorekeeper covering for you while you... I'm sorry. She was crying now, full sobs. I'm so sorry. It didn't mean... Don't. My voice came out harder than I intended. Don't tell me it didn't mean anything. You planned it, coordinated it, got Kathy to help you, brought Tyler into our lives at that Christmas party and smiled at me while you were already sleeping with Derek. I was going to end it. Which one? Or both? I grabbed my keys from the counter. I'm staying at Danny's tonight. Tomorrow I'm taking Lily to my mother's. Patricia will call you about custody arrangements. Please, she moved toward me. We can fix this. Counseling. Whatever you need. I'll stop everything. You'll be served at work tomorrow. Sign the papers or don't. Either way, we're done. I walked past her to the stairs. Called up to Lily that I'd be back in the morning. Heard her small okay from her bedroom. Emily grabbed my arm at the door. I love you. I still love you. I looked at her hand on my sleeve, at the wedding ring she still wore, at the woman I'd trusted with everything. You don't know what that word means, I said, and left. The divorce took 11 months. Emily contested everything at first. Custody, assets, even tried to claim I'd fabricated the evidence. But Patricia was thorough, and Danny's documentation was airtight. By month 6, Emily's attorney convinced her to settle. Tyler lost his job. His company fired him for expense fraud, and he couldn't find work in pharmaceutical sales afterward. Last I heard, he was selling insurance in Tennessee. Derek moved back in with his parents. The wrongful termination suit went nowhere. Kathy was banned from scorekeeping at every bowling alley in the regional league. She sent me a letter once, 8 months in, said she hoped I was happy destroying people's lives. I threw it away without finishing it. Emily kept her job at the dental practice, barely. Dr. Lawson put her on probation and she lost her senior hygienist position. We split custody of Lily 50-50, though Emily tried for more until Lily, at 8 years old, told the family court judge she wanted equal time with both parents. That was the hardest part. Watching Lily pack a bag every Friday, kiss me goodbye, and go to her mother's apartment. Knowing she'd come back Sunday night and ask why we couldn't all live together anymore. Explaining, over and over, that sometimes people make choices that can't be undone. I sold the house. Too many memories in those walls. Bought a smaller place closer to my office with a good school district and a backyard where Lily could play. Started dating again after a year. Nothing serious. Learned to trust slowly, if at all. Learned that some betrayals leave marks that don't fade. Danny and I still bowl on Thursdays. Different alley now. New league, new people who don't know the story. Sometimes I see couples at the lanes, laughing together, and I wonder if they're really happy or just better at hiding it than I was. 2 years after the divorce finalized, Lily asked me why I'd never told her the real reason we split up. We were at the kitchen table again. She was 10 now, working on a school project about family trees. She'd drawn Emily and me on separate branches. "You'll understand when you're older," I said. "That's what Mom says too." She looked up at me with those eyes that were so much like Emily's. But I'm not stupid. I know she did something bad. I set down my coffee. "What makes you think that?" "Because you're sad. And she's sad. And you both try to hide it, but I can tell." She went back to coloring the tree. Ava's parents got divorced because her dad hit her mom. Mason's parents split because his mom was mean. But you and Mom weren't like that, so it had to be something else. I watched her color in careful strokes, staying inside the lines. "Your mom made some mistakes," I said finally. "And I made the choice not to forgive them. That doesn't make either of us bad people, just people who couldn't be married anymore." "Do you still love her?" The question landed like a punch. I thought about Emily at the Christmas party, laughing at Tyler's jokes while I got us drinks. Emily on Thursday nights, kissing me goodbye before league. Emily in our bed, telling me she loved me while planning her next hotel visit. "I love who I thought she was," I said. "The real her. I don't think I ever really knew." Lily nodded like this made sense. "Ava says her dad still loves her mom even though he's not supposed to, because love doesn't just stop." Ava's dad is probably right. "So you do still love Mom?" I pulled Lily onto my lap, something she was getting too big for but still allowed sometimes. "I love that she gave me you, and I hope she's happy. But no, I don't love her the way I used to. That person doesn't exist anymore." She hugged me tight. "I'm glad you're my dad. I'm glad you're my daughter." She went back to her project. I watched her draw, this small person who'd been caught in the blast radius of her mother's choices and my response to them. Later that night, after Lily was asleep, I pulled out the old screenshots I'd saved. I'd kept them, even after the divorce finalized. "Evidence," Patricia had said, in case Emily ever tried to challenge the settlement. But really, I kept them as a reminder. Not of Emily's betrayal. I didn't need help remembering that. A reminder that I'd seen the truth and acted on it. That I hadn't let fear or comfort or love of a false image keep me in a marriage built on lies. That I'd chosen reality over fantasy, even when reality was harder. I deleted the screenshots, all of them. Emptied the trash folder on my phone and laptop. Then I opened my email and composed a new message to Patricia. "Can you destroy the case files? I don't need them anymore." Her response came an hour later. "Already done. Take care of yourself." The lesson, if there is one, isn't about trust or verification or protecting yourself from betrayal. It's simpler than that. Some people will lie to you. Some people will justify those lies with stories about unhappiness or neglect or deserving more. They'll rewrite history to make themselves the victim and you the villain. You can't control that. What you can control is how you respond when the mask falls off. Whether you pretend not to see the truth because seeing it is painful. Whether you let loyalty to a false version of someone destroy the real version of yourself. I chose to see clearly, to act decisively, to protect my daughter and myself from further damage. Was it revenge? Partially. I won't pretend the emails to Tyler's boss and Emily's supervisor were purely practical. I wanted them to hurt the way I was hurting. But it was also justice. Not legal justice. That came later, in the divorce settlement. Personal justice. The kind that says, you don't get to destroy someone and walk away unscathed. Emily's in a relationship now. Lily mentioned it last month. Some guy she met at a coffee shop. He seems nice, according to my daughter. I hope he is. I hope he makes Emily happy. I hope she's learned something from the wreckage of our marriage. But mostly, I hope he knows what he's getting into. Because the woman I married was capable of extraordinary deception. And people don't really change. They just get better at hiding who they've always been. Or maybe that's just the scar tissue talking. Either way, I'm done trying to figure out Emily's truth. I've got my own life to live, my own daughter to raise, my own lessons to learn about what love actually means when it's not wrapped in lies. Thursday nights, I still bowl. I'm not very good, but that was never the point. The point is showing up, being present, keeping score honestly. The point is knowing that some frames you'll strike and some you'll gutter, but at least the numbers on the board are real. That's enough. That has to be enough.